bookclubs, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Rye and this is Rye's Reading Corner, and today we're going to be going over my reading plans for the month of August.
But I'm right here, it's gonna be.
Hello, I'm Rye and this is Rye's Reading Corner. If this is the first time you see my face, if you have not hit the subscribe button, please do so. It's super easy and it really helps my channel grow. So as you can tell by my thumbnail and my little introduction, today we are going over my reading plans for the month of August. And this is my last month before I go back to work because I'm a teacher. So I am going to go hard on this one. So we're going to break this video up into a couple different ways. First, I'm going to go over my mandatory reads. These are things that I'm participating in for book clubs and also my own book club. And then I'm going to go into my readathon TBRs and then kind of just anything extra that I'm hoping to fit into the month of August. So let's get started. Okay, so in terms of mandatory reads, the first one is Indigo Ridge by Devin Perry. This is a small town suspense romance. I am going to be reading this for Steph's book club, Literature Book Club. I'm super excited about this one. I've heard absolutely amazing things from this series. I've heard the second one, I think it's the second one. It's the one with the green cover like Juniper. I've heard absolutely amazing things about that one as well. So I've been really wanting to get into this series, so I'm super excited to finally dive into it. The next one is for my own book club. It is Book Club Unlimited. Unlimited inspired book club. For the month of July, we read the Book of Azrael, which is a fantasy romance, and the live show for this one is going to be sometime in that first weekend of August. So I have not read it yet, but I need to prioritize it because it is a chunky one. I'm a little nervous to read this one, but I am super excited. And then I also need to fit in my for the month of August, which is going to be A Trial of Sorceress by Elise Kova. This is a competition fantasy romance, which I love a competitive aspect in my fantasy romances, so I'm really excited for this one. The next one is for my Patreon book club that I do along with Bree from 4 Paws in a Book. We're doing the A through Z alphabet reading challenge, and then every 2 months we do pick one book to read together and then talk about it with our Patreon. So for me, it's my top 2 Patreon tiers, and for this one it is Wretched by Emily McIntyre. I'm really excited to read this one. I have read Hooked and I really did enjoy it. That was a Peter Pan retelling. She does really dark like retellings from different, they're not all Disney because I believe this one is the Wizard of Oz one, and she is going through chemo right now for cancer, so I have been buying her books in order to support her. I just think she's a really awesome human being, and so I'm really excited to read Wretches. This is the third one. They are all standalone, so if you have not read any of the other ones, it's not a big deal, but I'm someone that does like to read things in order, so I do have Scarred that I would like to get to. This one's a Lion King one, and I'm super intrigued to see how she does this. I know it's a very loose type, obviously, of retelling, where it does like subtle hints to the original piece of work, but I'm super excited. And then there is a new one coming out too, this, I want to say in August, that's a Hunchback in Notre Dame, like retelling or spoof, but it's like a priest one, and I'm super excited. And then there is another one after Wretched. I think it's Twisted maybe. I don't know. I'm really excited to continue reading more of Emily McIntyre, so these are going to be on my mandatory reads for the month of August. Alright, so the next one is gonna seem like it's coming out of nowhere, but it is marked by PC Cast, and this is a like 2000s fantasy romance with vampires, and this is a read-along that Cassidy and Mel are doing with their Patreon, so I'm super excited to join in. And this author is gonna be at a Polycon, which has kind of sparked this rereading of this series that so many people loved as a teenager. I never read it, so this will be my first time. I'm really nervous about it, but it takes place like at an academy where our main character is like marked by like a crescent or something that's on her head. I don't know too much about it. It's gonna be interesting, but I'm ready for it, so we're gonna give this one a try. All right, the next ones are books that I'm reading for readathon. So there's gonna be 2 readathons that I'm participating in the month of August. The first one is my Patreon readathon, and it is going to be taking place in the middle of August. And I just did currently rebrand my Patreon, and now it's Gilmore Girls themed, which if you didn't know is another passion of mine besides reading. And so we're gonna be doing a Welcome to Stars Hollow, where it is a map of Stars Hollows, and we're gonna be reading prompts to visit certain famous places in Stars Hollow. So I will be participating in that one, obviously, over on my Patreon. And usually just readathons are open up to my 2 top tiers, but I am doing it with all my Patreons, so I'm super, super excited for that one. The next readathon that I'm participating in is created and hosted by Bree from 4 Paws in a Book, and it's the Amazing Readathon, which is inspired by The Amazing Race. And I'm so honored that I get to be a co-host for this readathon, and I am the co-host for Team Blue, which I know I'm wearing green. Didn't think about that before I started filming, but basically we don't don't know the prompts for it, which makes it really exciting. We find them out as we go along, but you get bonus points for doing certain things, and one of those is to read books with 51% or more of the color of your team color on the cover. So as you're gonna see in the next stack of books, they're all books I've really been wanting to read, but this happened to also be blue covers, so we're gonna go through those really quickly. The first one is a Kristen Hanna book, The Nightingale. Kristen Hanna writes historical fiction, so I know I don't talk much about historical fiction or Kristen Hanna on my channel. I focus mostly on like romance and fantasy romance. However, I really like Kristen Hanna. I've read 2 books by her and they're actually all-time favorites. This one is a World War II one, which World War II is my favorite time period to read about. This is one I've been really wanting to get to, but I know it's going to break my heart, so I have not gotten to it yet. This is one that is on my TBR, so I'm hoping to push myself to get to it. It is a chunker though, not perfect for a readathon where we're getting new prompts every couple days, but maybe it has potential for me to read it. The next one is another throwback book that I never read, but I feel like it's kind of resurfaced maybe through TikTok, and it's the Shatter Me series by Tahira Mafi. This is kind of like a fantasy romance, I believe, as well. This is a really big series, so I figured why not give it a try. It's a blue book and it will probably read super fast because it's YA and it's not that long to begin with, so it would be good for this readathon. I don't know tons of things about some of these books, but we're just gonna go with it. The next one's another one that I definitely had missed the hype on this one, but I've been really wanting to try this author, so I decided to buy the first book in the series, and this is Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. I don't know too much about this, but I believe it's a small town romance, and it says it's one of the top 100 romance novels of all time on Goodreads, so I feel like I need to read it. And again, I don't know too much about it, but small town romance is a big buzzword for me, so I do have high hopes for this one. The next one is a sports romance, and people are really talking about the second book in this romance series. I know you don't have to read them in order, but again, like I said, I like to. And this is Mile High by Liz Tomaford, and like I said, the next one I heard is absolutely amazing. It's a hockey romance, and it has to do with like a flight attendant, and we have Xander's and Stevie, and I think they must meet on an airplane. It's very long, and people said that it is almost too long in some ways. That book could have been shorter, but it is actually pretty good itself. I'm excited. It's a book I've been wanting to read for a long time. I really do like sports romance, and I've been reading and enjoying some other hockey romances, so I do think that this one could potentially be a good one for me. But again, it's really long for a quick readathon, but you know, we're gonna reach for the top for this time. All right, so the next one is a series that I need to continue, and this is Flamefall by Rosaria Mundan. This is the sequel to Fireborn. This is a dragon fantasy YA with, I believe there is some romance in there, but basically it's about these 2 characters that were orphaned, and they're orphaned because of a war that's going on, a competition, and it has to do with dragons. I'm really explaining that terribly. For a booktuber, I don't do very well at explaining books. But the first one was absolutely amazing. I feel like a lot of people have been talking about this series. It's kind of got a resurgence recently. And if you like dragons, if you aren't afraid to read YA fantasy, which I know kind of turns a lot of people off, but I'm telling you right now, still read it. Give it a try, even though it's YA fantasy. I really enjoy this one. Most people really love this series, and the people said a lot of times that the second one is their favorite one. So I really need to prioritize this because I absolutely loved Fireborn. The next one is a romance series by Lucy Score, Things We Never Got Over. It's a series, I believe, and I think this one you do have to read in order, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't know too much about it. It just says bearded bad boy barber Knox prefers to live his life the way he takes his coffee alone. And then we have Naomi, who was running away from a wedding, and then that's all I know really about this one. But again, I'm going for the chunky ones. I don't really know why, but we're gonna go with it. It is blue, so it would count for the readathon, and I would give me those bonus points. But yeah, I've heard people really enjoy this one, and I haven't tried a Lucy Score, so I'm excited to kind of dabble in her writing because she writes a lot of books. All right, now we're gonna kind of switch gears, and we're gonna go with rom-com, and this is Ashton Parker Doesn't Fail by Ashley Herring Blake. So this is the follow-up novel to Delia Green Doesn't Care. This is in the same universe with similar characters. This is Delia's sister from the first novel, and I think this would count as blue. It's kind of like a bluish green. I'm gonna count this one as blue. I had started this one before, but I just happened to not be in the rom-com mood when I started it, but I am really kind of getting more into rom-com mood, so I would like to give this a try again because the newest one comes out, I want to say maybe in October. Don't quote me on this one. So this story follows Delia's sister Astrid, who has had a year off of her failed marriage, and she is is asked to become the interior designer HDTV type show for this inn that's kind of struggling, and there are some feelings that she starts experiencing towards one of the inn owners, and she kind of catches her off guard. And this is going to be a really exciting book. It's queer. I cannot wait to actually dive into it. This one, I've heard that this maybe does not people's favorites, but I really want to give this one a try. The next one, we're going to go back to fantasy romance, and this is The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen. I heard great things about this series. Cassie from Covers with Cassie, this is one of her favorite fantasy romance. I don't know too much about it. However, I think it says right here, what if you fell in love with the one person you'd sworn to destroy? I think that she's sent to this kingdom to kill the king or something like that, and then she ends up falling for love of him. I don't really know, but Danielle L. Jensen is going to be at a Polycon, so I really want to prioritize the authors that are going to be at a Polycon, so this one fits right there. The next one is The Nanny by Lana Ferguson. This is a single dad nanny romance, which I am such in my nanny single dad era. I love that trope so much, and so I've been itching to read more about in this. And I saw this one at Barnes & Noble not that long ago, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to pick it up. And then I saw someone talk about it on BookTube, and they said it's super smutty, especially for traditionally published, which I do tend to go more towards indie romance. But I wanted to give this one a try. I don't know too much about it. It says a woman discovers the father of the child she is nannying may be her biggest only fan in the steamy contemporary romance by Lana Ferguson. That's right. She finds out the dad that she is working for finds out that she has OnlyFans. I don't know. It sounds messy, and I'm super excited for this one. Okay, another book that I want to read that's not blue is going to be Ricocheted by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is the sequel into the Addicted series following Lily and Lauren. I'm really behind the 8 ball on this one too, but I read Addicted to You this month and I absolutely loved it. Basically, we have Lily and Lo, who are extreme addicts. Lily is addicted to sex and Lo is addicted to alcohol, and they both enable each other, and they have been childhood friends, and they've used each other to kind of mask their addictions. And yeah, it's super messy. It's really hard to read, but it's written very well. This is really short, so this would be a really good one to read for a readathon, so I'm super excited to get to this one. So these are a lot of books that I am interested in reading in the month of August. Will I get to these? I don't know, but make sure you follow, because I will do a recent reads video throughout the month like I did for the month of July. So if you want to take this crazy and chaotic journey, please make sure you press the subscribe button. If you're my friend on any of my other social media platforms, I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, and I do have my own Patreon. All the information is linked down below. Stay tuned. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Close your eyes.